ho, ho!
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Coach?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Good for the most part.
for the most part. Yeah, it's kind of Christmas chaos here.
Yeah, I'm ready for peace.
Peace would be lovely. Yes,
Yay.
it's just about ready to kick off, and we are off work next week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yay.
How's everybody doing today?
That's what I got.
That's what I got. Exactly. All right, I'm pulling up all of the chat so we can see our people today.
Oh yeah.
First of all, I look like I've been punched in the face because apparently you're supposed to take your contacts out every night. And I have a reason why I don't, because I have a lot of long nails, and every time I go and I scratch my eyeball every time I take them out. So I don't take my contacts out. I will from now on. I will, because I have been punched in the face with a horrible, I don't know if it's an infection or what, but yeah. So I kind of look like I've been in World War III.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
have my coffee. Are you ready for Christmas?
I am.
Yeah.
And I feel like this season right here, this week, I'm not only prepping for our Christmas Eve service, but the boys are finishing up their last week of school.
Lots.
And it's a lot.
Yeah.
I had to take Colin to school at 6:30 for band purpose. They're treating the teachers with music and food.
Yep.
So they were all kind of grumpy getting on the bus today.
Oh gosh, I remember those days.
Yeah.
Even after post empty nesting, there's just a lot of loose ends to tie up. You know, like I was driving home and forgot about my mailman, and I always leave something in the mailbox for him on Christmas, and like I forgot about the mailman. Do I want to go back to the store? And we always go and celebrate our firemen here. I forgot the firemen, and I forgot my nail ladies, and so that's what I was doing this morning, was just loose ends. Loose ends just stressed me out. Forgot about our pastor. I didn't forget about him, but forgot. Yeah, I did. So, oh, good morning, Amanda. It's good to see you this morning.
Good morning.
You ready for Christmas? You got a lot. Gosh, there's just a lot.
Yeah.
And in the process of all of it, my mind is in Mexico right now. So, you know, we're leaving for a cruise, and I'm not ready for that, but I am ready. So yeah, it's a lot. Christmas is tough for a lot of people, and I don't think it's meant to be tough, but we've made it tough, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I like the days. Like we had a snow day on the 13th, right? That was we had to cancel. I had to cancel a movie night that I was going to have with my lady girls. My lady girls. That was weird. Yeah. My gals, and we had to cancel that. But it was nice. It was like, this is what Christmas Day should be like where we're getting snowed in, can't go anywhere.
Right.
And we're just playing. The boys have been playing like checkers with Mark each night. So it's been nice.
That's good. That's what it was meant to be. I think somewhere we got it wrong, where it's all of this busyness and hustle, and it's fun. That's the other thing. It's not a stressful time because you want to do all of this stuff, but I think we've self-imposed our chaos, and that kind of bleeds into what we're talking about today. We have oh gosh.
Aww.
Amanda, that is tough. It is so tough. My mom was just talking. That was the other thing I had to do. I forgot our Shih Tzu had a spa appointment day today. So I used to toss her off and say, hey, can you run her over to the spa? And it's me. It's all me now. So, but our mom was talking this morning about how her mom is gone this year, and it's just different. It's just
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
So
I think it's an important thing for all of you that have lost somebody recently or even a couple of years. It's really important to not only take that moment to grieve that loss, but also to take and be okay with that and know that, yeah, I'm okay to be crying. I'm okay to
yeah,
be
it's
missing
okay to
them.
do that.
But also, I like to share, like, just do something that is a memory. And I said this for Thanksgiving. Do something for Christmas that, like, either it's a tradition that that person loved to do, add it within your Christmas holiday, with your gathering, something of that sort, so that you're not feeling like you're just, I don't know, just missing out on that person 100%. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's different when they aren't there.
Yeah.
I get that, but yeah, it's a
It's
good,
hard.
important thing to remember. It's okay to do that. It's okay.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
We had a pretty intense, beautiful group, weight loss support group on Monday, and we talked about this very thing about we have been conditioned as a society. When you think about um, life, and you think about how we have been such a medicated society, when something is wrong and we feel those feelings, let's go medicate them, and let's go fix it, when what we're really supposed to do is we're supposed to have those feelings. We just can't stay stuck there, and that's where we get messed up, I think, as a society, is we are so afraid of pain, or pain has become so normal to us that we just automatically go get medicated, and we don't, and it's like doctors, pharma don't want us to feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
And if you miss a stage of grieving, if you miss a stage of feeling, and that is exactly what's happening right now in the weight loss world, is we just want to medicate so fast and have this weight come off so quickly that we skip the healing part. And if we don't go through the healing part, we have not healed wholly. And that's when the weight rages back. That's when, that's when we go back into our old lifestyle, because we have not healed wholly. And so, our message today is you have got to feel to heal. If you don't feel, you're skipping part of your journey that on the other side of it is going to set you back, and you will regain the weight. And so Monday, we worked with our clients on what does that look like to heal wholly? What does that look like? Do we avoid the valleys, and do we avoid it because we don't want to feel, or do we deal with it? And sometimes you and I work with clients every day. Sometimes that means putting the weight loss on hold so that we can work through, say, trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I would say a good portion of the clients that we've worked with in the past and currently have some massive childhood trauma, and we haven't dealt with it. But dealing with it is hard, and dealing with it hurts. Healing is messy. And so that's what we want to talk about today. You want to kick us off, Darce? I think I kicked us off, but you want to continue the ball down the field?
No, you can do it. You take us and I'll follow.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we talked about is, number one, accepting and really being okay being in the valley. So let's just spend a little bit of time working in the valley portion of it. What does that look like, Darcy, when we work in the valley? What does a coaching session of ours look like in the valley?
The valley is, typically the idea, the valley is very, it's draining. It's kind of, it puts your emotions, like you were saying, it takes your emotions in a role that we don't like. It keeps us uncomfortable in a lot of ways, where we don't like to feel sorrow. We don't like to feel anger. We don't like to feel frustration. But yet when we're there, we look to things physically to help us out,
Mm-hmm.
to get us out of that funk. And usually, and knowing for my perspective in my life, I turned to food for
Mm-hmm.
comfort. Instead of taking that time to even finding that accountability partner just to talk it
Mm-hmm.
out.
Yeah.
But I think the valley is a moment of, I think the biggest thing is that we don't like to be uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and we like to stay in our zone, and we like to put on masks there. So
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to find the things to get us back up into the valley, or not the valley, but the mountaintop, and stay there because we like to be at the mountaintop.
Yeah.
But initially, like, that discomfort is the spiral effect if you don't know how to utilize it as a growth moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So
We talk a lot about we're people of faith. I don't hide it from the clientele that we bring in. You don't have to be a person of faith to go through the program, but a lot of times, we talk about one thing, the enemy. We talk about the red dog versus the blue dog. That's the way you can translate it if you don't have a faith. But we talk about how the enemy, his power is removed when we bring things to light. And a lot of times, I'm going to say it's a majority of our clients have hidden things, and they've stuffed things. I stuffed things through food, and I would eat sugar because it's a chemical that lights up the dopamine in the brain. So you can mix the science and you can mix the spiritual part of this, because sugar literally lights up the dopamine pathway, and you feel better for about 21 minutes after you've had that dopamine hit. But what happens is, when you crash, you go back into the valley, and it's a cycle. It's if you think of a circle, it's a cycle of hit that dopamine with some sugar, feel better for 21 minutes, you start to fall again, and you start to feel bad again. And so you know exactly what it's going to take to get you out of that feeling of hopelessness. And so you have some more sugar, and it's a cycle. And that is what has caused, I think, the obesity epidemic in our nation, is that we have not dealt with it. The enemy hates things in the light, hates it. I mean, you think about, I use the word, the example of cockroaches. When you turn on the light, they run, right?
mm-hmm.
The same thing happens is when you turn on the light, you expose that. And sometimes healing is just a matter of admitting. Same with Alcoholics Anonymous. The first step is acknowledging. And I remember, talking with my pastor one time about a situation that I didn't want to deal with. And I'm like, he said, okay, now you've done a great job on the outside. You lost the weight, all of that. Now it's time to go and dig a little bit deeper and expose the reasons. And I'm like, I don't want to go there. That'll open a can of worms in my life. And he said, Monica, a can of worms turns into maggots. So they don't go away when you don't deal with it. Here's the problem with the GLP-1. There's a lot of problems with GLP-1, the GLP-1. But one of the problems is, sorry, the dog is clunking on a bone behind me. But one of the problems with the GLP-1, and I personally can speak into this because I experienced it, and a lot of people know my GLP-1 story. I had already lost 130 pounds. But I saw this wave of hurt coming when the GLP-1s got popular. I saw this wave, and I'm like, I've got to be able to meet my client where they are if they're on a GLP-1. I have got to figure out how we can have these clients not gain the weight back, because that's the problem. You're on the shot, you lose the weight, you stop the shot, the weight comes back plus 20 extra pounds. Sometimes 80 extra pounds is what we're finding. And so I'm like, I got to get ahead of this in my practice. If we're going to survive as a practice, I've got to get ahead of this. And so I had a doctor put me on it for about I think it was about 9 months total. And something happened that was very, very scary when I was on it. I call it the gray zone. I did not feel depressed, as a lot of that, what those feelings of depression bring. And just, I did not feel that, but everything in my life went gray. I saw no color. I saw nothing. And the outlook, it was a very, very scary experience for me. And a lot of people get the euphoria when the weight first starts to come off and something happens. And I think it's a chemical thing that happens with this GLP-1, but something happens and it's like somebody turns the lights off, somebody turns the color off in your life. And it was almost paralyzing. I couldn't process my thoughts. I couldn't process my fears. I couldn't process my joy. I couldn't process my sadness. And this is something that is very scary if you forecast what's happening in the GLP-1 world. And the weight, I had about 20 pounds to play with, so I didn't get on it. I was not at my goal weight. And so the weight came off. But then I entered this season of darkness and gray. And it hit me, and I've been thinking about this the past month for our practice, because if our clients are not willing to do hard things on the emotional side, we work physically, we work spiritually, and we work emotionally with our clients. If they are not willing to confront the trauma, if they're not willing to confront the stress, because a lot of people have a lot of stress, if they're not willing to confront that, they don't heal. The weight comes off. Now, sometimes the weight doesn't come off because stress releases cortisol. Cortisol releases insulin. In the presence of insulin, you do not lose weight. Okay, so sometimes the weight actually stops coming off during these seasons. And if the client is not willing to do the hard things and to open those trauma bags, the weight stops. And then they tend to spiral. And so it is a passion of ours that when we walk through these seasons with the clients, that we do open those things up. Now, we are not counselors. We don't play one on the internet. But there are a lot of times I'm like, you know what? Let's pause the weight loss just for a little bit so that you can start to work through these seasons, because at the end of the day, your reward is going to come on the other side of it because you've worked through those things. Mm-hmm. Talk to me a little bit, Darcy. I think this is pretty public knowledge, but when we brought in counseling for our clients, you kind of resisted it a little bit. Mm-hmm. You kind of was like, oh, I don't need to open any of those things, because number one, I don't know if you knew that you had issues or if you knew that you could possibly find things you didn't want to know, but you kind of did a little bit of a turn on that, especially with the exercise that you did with your husband.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about why you maybe didn't want to go down that path, or, you know, what was your pause on that? Because I think that's really enlightening for a lot of people, because I don't think you were the only one that feels that way.
I think it came down to after actually going through the Overeaters Anonymous, and, you know, having to do the workbook, and it talked about like the things that you struggle with. The key word for me was trust.
Yeah.
And I have a very little trust for people.
Yeah.
And for my personality, I know it well enough because I've spent a lot of time understanding myself, and I've journaled, I've worked things out. I do a lot of Bible studies. So I do a lot of deep dives personally, and I do take that time. Mm-hmm. And I can say that not everybody does that. They don't take the time to be able to understand how they work.
Right.
I have a growth mindset, and I'm learning that other people have a fixed mindset where they don't see the point of growing, or that there is any viewpoint in possibly growing from a situation. And that's a legit thing. Mm-hmm. But once I learned that I had trust issues, I think the other thing was also finding the right person. If I were to open up to somebody and they were to ask me questions, finding that person, the right person that not only agrees with my religious beliefs, but also is not trying to change me, enlighten the areas that I don't really understand 100%, and make me start believing that I'm broken, or that I don't even know if that's even a thing. But I don't feel like I'm broken. I think that I have gone through a lot of things in my life that I can overcome. And not everybody also has that mindset either.
So you started personally even before your journey in this and what your husband and you just did. You started by journaling.
Yeah.
And so when we say therapy, air quote therapy, when we say all of that, it doesn't necessarily mean you got to go sit in a shrink's office, right?
Yeah. Right.
You learned a lot about yourself just by journaling and going through the 12 steps with us. And so I think a lot of your healing began then.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were like, oh, okay, I get that about myself.
Well, that and the fact that, like, if you don't know where to start with journaling, because there's a lot of people that don't like to write. There's a lot of people that don't know what to write.
Right.
And I just started at, talking about my life, because that's what we know best. We know our life the best. We've experienced life.
Mm-hmm.
We've experienced living with people, and we were raised by, somebody who took care of us, either that be our biological parents or even adoptive parents. We all have an experience.
Yeah.
And I in our marriage thing that we did, we both kind of had to go down and share it with people, like what our upbringing looked like and what we experienced. And when you are able to write it out and then even say it out loud to other people, it brings to light certain things and why you are the way you are.
Yeah.
And I think and then being able to listen to Mark's story, being able to listen to my own story, and then see how our parenting is based off of our upbringing, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But I would just say, like, I just wasn't 100% like against counseling. It was more of like I didn't want to have to take the time to find somebody to help me when I didn't really feel like I was 100% broken. And there's other people out there that have more trauma than I do in their past, and so why would I take the time to like talk about it? But then I found, there is a reason why I went to food. There is a reason why I didn't know how to communicate well with others, or how I blow up quickly instead of thinking things through. And I'm just a highly emotional, in-tuned person.
Yeah.
So I think part of it was laziness. Part of it was I don't trust people. Part of it was I don't want to be diagnosed with something and then I just lean on that diagnosis and have an excuse for staying where I am.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times, if you think about it as proactive, if you think about it as like, I believe that if you lose over 30 pounds, you need to go unpackage that with a counselor. I just believe that is a really healthy thing, because when you lose weight physically, especially if you lose, over 30 pounds, you're a different person because your chemicals have changed. There's a lot of things that changes with those things. And so going to a counselor does not have to be scary. It's like, hey, can you help me unwrap what I lost? Can you help me unwrap? You may find something, you may not find something, but we don't hesitate to take our cars for a tune-up. We don't hesitate to do, to go to the dentist to get our teeth cleaned. Those are proactive things that are not a bad thing. Now, when you do go to a counselor and you find it, hey, maybe this was the root of where my weight began, my weight gain began. That's just a positive. It's just a benefit. So we don't hesitate to go and get proactive things at the doctor or proactive things with our cars. Same should go for ourselves. And, even just unpackaging what just happened to my body, what just happened when I lost all this weight. It's a good thing. It's absolutely a good thing. And that's part of your healing process. When you lose weight so quickly, you don't sense that. You don't go through that. It's like a 3-legged stool. I added a 4th leg, with the social aspect. But it's like, if you don't fix your body, mind, and spirit, and you don't fix, say, the spirit part, that stool is not going to stand. It will stand for a little bit. It'll wobble for a little bit, but it will not stand. And so I don't believe that healthy weight loss can happen without unpackaging that. What just happened in my mind? What just happened, around me socially. I think that's the fourth leg of the stool that, and that's something that's kind of fixed as you're going through the journey. But even after I lost all the weight, my social aspect kicked in because the very son who saved my life wanted me to start eating like I used to again. And so even after the weight comes off, you still have to kind of wrestle those demons a little bit and proactively think, is this weight gonna stay off? Did I fix all of these? And it is probably, losing weight is the easy part of this. Keeping it off is the hard part. We know that. But also fixing the emotions, fixing all of those other things, that is probably harder than the entire process.
Yeah.
Now, when you do this, you have to go to a doctor, physician, counselor who understands nutrition, because we have also had therapists completely derail clients and send them right back into obesity. And that is really, really important. When you do go through that, is make sure you find the right therapist to work with, not one that's going to send you back to emotional eating.
Right. Yeah. So like going back into the valley, we talk about different seasons in our program that our clients go through during their weight loss. One of them is, the honeymoon phase. We go through the excitement of losing that and feeling better and seeing how canceling out those foods that you used to eat and go to how they made you feel groggy and gross and foggy minded and all that jazz. And then there's going into the phase of, okay, do I really this is where the counseling part comes in. Like, do I really want to continue this? I'm missing out on what everybody else is doing. There's so much chaos in my calendar that I don't know if this is sustainable for me, because I, am never knowing where I'm going to go eat. And then there's that other point in that fork in the road where when that person has decided that they feel so good that they have been able to work on the mental side of things by doing our program where we work on the mental side of your journey. And that's when they decide, oh yes, there's nothing in the, God's green earth that I'm going to be turning back. I'm not doing this. I'm not going back to where I was. And that's the next phase of, because the one kind of ends. The one fork in the road just kind of ends. Then you're back to where you were. But the other fork in the road, when you choose that side, then that light bulb moment comes on.
Yeah.
Then you realize and you see that those trials and tribulations that you've gone through during your journey, through your life, through all those moments were moments where they were teaching moments.
Yeah.
They were opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
And that's why I say for me now, I love living in the discomfort. I love being able to, try things that I would have so flippin' nervous about and never saw myself doing, or, like giving messages, messages, or they're not Bible messages to students or even adults, and sharing my story in front of people and speaking in front of them. And then to, speaking during worship, like things like that are out of my comfort zone, because words were not my friend. I always despised words. And now I've realized, words can be your friend as long as you, practice that. And you are out, when you practice that, means you're outside of your comfort zone. And so when you start to then practice that, you get to normalize speaking in front of people, or whatever things make you uncomfortable. Calling somebody on the phone, that's another one I don't like to do, which that's her program. I call people and strangers all the time now.
Yeah.
When you do that multiple times over and over and over, your tiny little comfort bubble starts to expand to be a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, and a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't love being in the valley. Nobody loves to be in the valley, but that's an opportunity that, that's a teaching moment for you, as long as you're willing, as long as you're ready.
Yeah. Well, I think people on the GLP-1 get stuck in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
Because they don't feel feelings. They get stuck there. And when you get stuck there, what happens again when the shot stops?
Yeah.
You crash. And there was a season when I first started the practice where I was living off of the honeymoon phase, and suddenly in the world's eyes I became average again. When you become average again, that's when you are in the most dangerous place, because you don't have those before pictures. You don't have those, you don't remember. When you start to forget how you felt when you were overweight, when you start to forget those things, that eats at you. And that's when the weight starts coming back.
Yeah.
I no longer care about our clients losing weight. I do. I care. I'm excited. But my passion is, okay, you're here. There's a point when a client gets within 20 pounds of their weight loss, I stop coaching them weight loss, because that's just naturally happening. They're naturally eating correctly. When they have about 20 pounds to go, we start going into maintenance, because I need their attitude. I need their mindset to be long-term at that point, because there comes a time when that scale, it happened for me when the scale stopped and I was okay. Mentally, you're so used to that scale and those numbers falling that you kind of shift into a I don't care attitude. You kind of shift into this mode of well, I'm okay now. You can't be in an I'm okay now state when you're in maintenance, because you always have for the rest of your life, you're going to have the danger of the weight coming back. So I begin to shift my clients into, okay, let's talk maintenance. What do you love about your lifestyle now? Where are you frustrated? And we work through those frustrations more than we do staying on plan, because that's when the dangerous part of your weight loss begins, right there.
Yeah.
And so again, and during this season, maybe this season, when we have about 20 pounds to go, maybe this season is the appropriate time for the counseling to come in, for you to start to unwrap, because you want to unwrap those. If there's any darkness in there, you want to unwrap that before you go into maintenance, because that's when those monsters are going to start creeping in.
Yeah.
And that's when you're going to start to find that the weight is coming back. And the thing of it is, the weight doesn't come back 30 pounds at a time unless you're on the weight loss shot. Then they come back I'm not even kidding. They come back 30 pounds at a time. But when you've done it right, those pounds don't come back. They come back 1 pound at a time. So you're kind of eased and you're kind of sleeping into your weight gain again.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, that's when we say, okay, you need to let the scale be your coach, and have a 5-pound window of, hey, when it happened to me this morning, I've been living at 136 for the past 6 weeks, which is fine. I'm happy there. That's where I feel my best. This morning it was 140. So my mind today is like, okay, we're getting, 145 is my window. But when I see 140, I'm like, something needs to, what's going on? Am I feeling a lot of stress? What's the deal?
Yeah.
What's the root of that? And I push it back. I just bring it back.
Yeah.
But it's Christmas. I have helpers behind me helping. But yeah, that is, but again, I don't fear that scale. I just let it coach me.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Let's go back to talking about the chemical reaction of your brain. We talked about this a little bit last night, and I thought it was an interesting point of view that on chemically what the GLP-1 is. When you're talking about like the gray area and you're feeling numb and not having emotions, and even when you decide that you feel, a little down and depressed, or you don't know how to sort out all the emotions and the chaos that's going on in your life. And so then, you choose to use a medication. I know for a fact, like the GLP-1, and a disclaimer, I understand that there's some people out there that definitely need medication. They're not just medicating yeah. So that's a disclaimer. I get that. Anyway, wanted to say that. But with the chemicals in the GLP-1, we're using Gila monster venom,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so when you're thinking about putting venom and the fact of what venom is actually used for an animal, they're utilizing that to, when they bite their prey, to numb their body so that they don't squirm and they're not trying to move and they're not trying to run away from them.
Yeah.
And even if they do release that venom in there and they do get out, they will slow down and they're going to start to feel the effects of the venom and go numb.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting these toxins in your body. Is it on a weekly basis? I don't even know.
Yeah, on a weekly basis.
On a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
So on a weekly basis, you're putting venom in your body. And do you just imagine what this is doing to the nerves in your body, to the hormones in your body, to the organs in your body? Like, I think it can be some benefit to chemical, like how they use the chemicals in the shot for targeting the fat and targeting the, well, in this case, also muscles. Like, so those cells are being destroyed. But you're getting numb. Like, you're mentally becoming numb because this venom doesn't just go away. It doesn't just go in there and it's not a part of this compound that you're of a shot that you're putting in your body, but it is numbing not just the fat and the muscles. It's numbing your brain. It's numbing or not just your brain, but your nerves,
right?
Function, your brain, your gut, all of those things.
Yeah.
So if you think about why these things are working the way that they are, if we step outside of the box and think, okay, why am I not as hungry?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I feeling this gray area? Why am I feeling certain things? Like, I guess you were talking about your vision and how your vision was declined. Like, there's so many things about these shots. So the reason why I bring that up again is just if you are in that fork in the road and you're trying to decide whether or not to stay focused on, hardcore eating food that is healthy for you versus, the fear of missing out on life in general, what everybody has to offer. I mean, I see Facebook and Instagram where you scroll and there's all of these delicious cookies being made right now. You see all these recipes for Christmas that are being made and you're like, oh, I'm going to make that. A lot of those are like buying boxed food and putting them together into making another ultra processed food treat that you're going to gorge in and you're going to eat it. You're not just going to share it. You're going to eat it yourself. And then you're probably going to have leftovers and then you're going to eat that too. Mm-hmm. So just thinking about the domino effect of the choices of putting a little bit more effort in and acknowledging that there is an issue, acknowledging that, you can't be controlling what goes into your mouth very well.
Right.
You can't be controlling all the emotions and the chaos that is going on right now, and it's overwhelming, and you just can't.
Right.
But actually taking the time and putting some effort into taking time out for yourself to heal yourself. That's one thing that people that have their calendars full don't want to do. And I think it's a form of a mask. It's a form of, like we talked about the rug last night. I always think about the junk closet too, where we're so chaotic and we're so busy and we don't have time to assess how we're actually feeling and we don't have the time to put an actual emotion to what is happening in that situation. And we just say, I'm fine, everything's fine. That's a mask, y'all. If you're saying, I'm fine, everything's fine, but you're not, you're actually going to explode inside. Mm-hmm. You're just putting it underneath the rug. And as that rug gets full, that rug starts to build up. Mm-hmm. And it comes to the point where that rug is only a certain size. And so once that certain size has been filled, it's going to start spilling out. And then that's where the chaos is. Like, you have done so much that you don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
And the same as a junk closet. We like to throw things in junk closets, junk drawers. There's a point in time when that junk drawer doesn't close because it's so full of random things and you don't know where to start. Mm-hmm. So that's where, working things out, writing it out, talking to a counselor, talking to somebody that is trustworthy, that's not trying to fix you, but is actually trying to hear you and listen to you.
Yeah.
And not trying to, like, when they do hear you, and they are trying to like give a suggestion, that they're not taking you down the wrong path that's going to just demolish maybe a relationship, or demolish a friendship, or start up a gossip conversation. Just choosing that right person is really important. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's what, the GLP-1 is exactly what they do. They take the shot, they shove everything under the rug. And like you said, eventually the rug is only so big and you have to deal with these things. The problem is my attitude. When I was almost 300 pounds, I told God I would do anything if you just get this off. I will not ever put it back again. If you just give me the shot, not the real shot. If you just give me some grace and get this body fat off of me, I will never do it again. And scientifically, when you're on the shot, the GLP-1, you don't get that choice because you only eat 800 calories. And when you crash that metabolism, it takes a minimum of 4 months to reverse that. And so when people, think that they're eating healthy on the shot, and they're like, okay, I lost the weight, it's done, and they go to Texas Roadhouse, get what they think is a healthy meal, the healthiest meal there is 1,200 calories. So that food noises come back. You think you're eating healthy. When you have adapted at 800 calories, you're starting to gain about a pound a week, eating 1,200 calories, which is not enough to keep a toddler alive. Yeah. So you have to titrate off of that, and you've got to reverse your diet going up. So scientifically, my wish to God was not even possible, because metabolically, you can't. Coming from a starvation diet, you cannot bring yourself out of it eating a healthy way. You have to reverse your diet, and it takes math to do that. We don't take our clients through a reverse diet unless I have 4 to 6 months to work with them. And so scientifically, it's not possible. Adding on to that problem of the math problem, you haven't dealt with the trauma in your life. You haven't dealt with the reason why you became overweight in the first place. If you don't deal with that, you have no shot of keeping it off. And so what we're saying is, go through the valleys, do it the right way, both scientifically, calorie-wise, content of what you eat right wise, as well as the mental health part, as well as the spiritual part, because we all have a spirit. Whether you have a faith or not, you have a spirit. And if you don't fix that, and then the social aspect, if you don't align your families with your new lifestyle, you're going to, the first time Aunt Susie brings her pie in, you are going to say, oh, well, what the heck? Yeah. And again, the weight does not come back 20 pounds at a time. It comes back 1 pound at a time. We did not get overweight overnight. It took a long time. Side note to that is GLP-1, it comes back 30 at a time because of the math. We go back to the math part of that. Mm-hmm. So you have to feel, and you have to go through the valleys in order to heal. You have to. A lot of people want to take a shortcut, and you cannot take a shortcut doing that.
Right. Wow.
So that's our message today. Yeah. It's our message today. You've got to feel to heal. So if you are on this journey, you're like, oh crap, I have not done that. Give us a call. Get on our schedule. And let's start the new year out right. Mm-hmm. Let's start you out the right way so that you won't have to be back here the same time next year, 40 pounds heavier, because you didn't want to do that part of the healing process.
I would add, this is a pretty heavy topic for Christmas spirit.
Yes, it is.
Honestly, if you think about a lot of people during this time, they're hurting, they're struggling. They don't know what's up and down because of either trauma, loss, loneliness.
Yep.
All the dark spaces. I mean, scientifically, we don't see the sun as much if you're over here in the coast where there's no sun.
Yes.
For days. I mean, there's things that are going to keep you down. And I think during this winter time, yes, things are chaotic and fast, and you feel like you are having to take kids to all the Christmas programs, all the band practices, all the sports, and all those things that you're doing constantly. You're the driver, all the time to everywhere, or maybe the grandparent that's also doing the jobs and helping the other people. Like, you are busy and you are taking care of others, but I would highly encourage you during this holiday season and even the beginning of the next season is realizing how important you are and how you need to put yourself on that calendar and have you time so that you can adjust your mindset and acknowledge the fact that you can't just keep putting things underneath the rug.
Yeah. You're going to fall head over heels over that rug that has got too much stuff under it.
Yeah.
And a lot of our women that we work with, they're super women. They want to make everybody feel good. They put themselves last. And until you put yourself first, both body, mind, and spirit, you're going to end up tripping over that rug every single time. Yeah. And we want to stop that. We want to get that rug out of here. I don't have any rugs in my house anymore. We have Great Danes and you can't. But it is true. But I do have a junk drawer and I do have a closet full in my front room full of crap.
Mm-hmm.
And the door to my front closet now doesn't shut because there's so much crap in there. So, yeah.
Sometimes that physical stuff is just as hard as the emotional.
It really is. And I'm an empty nester, so I don't even have kids. Well, it is their crap.
Yeah.
They just haven't moved it out.
Well, tell them to come get it. That worked for us, right, Mom?
Right. Yeah. She was complaining about that Sunday night about all the crap in her room.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is our stuff. So.
Well, it is, and I told her to get rid of it, but she never did.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
If you're frustrated with your weight loss and it hasn't worked, if you've tried the shot, if you've tried the diet, if you're on the shot, please don't get off of the shot. If you are on the shot right now, this has been a mistake of a lot of people who are like, the shot, I've lost my eyesight. It's not worth it. And then they stop taking the shot and then they come to us. We cannot help you because we have to very carefully take you off of it. Yeah. There is a way to do it. And that's why I did the program in the first place, because I needed to find out what do I need to do for my people who need help. There's a way that we take you off. We don't just take you off. I need 4 months with you to reverse your diet before you can come off of that. We titrate that weight loss shot down. We reverse your diet, and then you're good to go because you've also worked through, through the emotional stuff too. Yeah. So,
and it's not. And again, like just as disclaimer, we're not dogging on people that have made that choice either. Like that is a choice you made, but I
would have done it.
Yeah, I know we would have. I would have probably done it too.
Yeah.
But I have a better key for you, a better door to open.
Yeah. You don't have to gain the weight back, guys. No. You don't. But you got to do it right. And that's what we're here to help. If you haven't started the shot and you're like, I was thinking about it, call us first. Let's get you through 3 months of Valley time. That's why I love our 3-month program, because we have Valley time with them. If you come into us and you're like only needing 8 weeks, you're going to be in the honeymoon phase. And then when that 8 weeks is done, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, my husband just got it's a mess. That's why we love our 3-month program. Yeah, because we can walk through the valleys with you. So,
yeah.
Are we going to be here next week?
I don't know. We kind of closed the doors.
We did. We shut the doors. We may come on live on a Monday. We're going to only be coaching on Monday. And then we've got a couple weeks here where you will probably miss us because we will be on a ship in Mexico somewhere. I don't even know if that's where we're going. But
I don't know.
I'm just along for the ride. So we'll be gone for a couple of weeks, but get on our schedules. As tax accountants, their busy season is April. January through April. Our busy season starts in January. So if you're like, hey, I just need to nail your calendar down, you don't have to start before Christmas. You can be ready to start with us on the 1st, but get on our schedule because our schedules fill up very, very quickly in January. So we hope you have a Merry Christmas. If we don't see you before, we may do a surprise drop in, but right now, have a Merry Christmas and let us know. KM Health Coaching is our website. You can go find Coach Darcy's website. You can find my website on there, kmhealthcoaching.org. We put all of our clients on a CGM now because data-driven weight loss is the most successful weight loss. If you're on it, here, I've heard a complaint of people who have watched us and are like, oh, CGM, that's going to make me lose weight. No, man. It doesn't. No, there is a way that you lose weight on a CGM. We walk you through that. If you're frustrated because you're on a CGM, or like, well, they said weight loss would happen. No, there's a specific method that we use with the CGM. The CGM does not release body fat from you. You release it from yourself, but we use the CGM as accountability. You got a 24/7 coach on you. Those people who are on the CGM and they're not losing weight, that data point is just screaming out, hey, you need a coach so you know what to do with these numbers.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we will see you probably the first of the year, pending a surprise visit from us on Monday. But we will see you
next time.
Next time. See you later, guys.
Bye.